Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Dan, what a glorious, glorious time it's been since we last spoke.
Yes. Good start.
Great start.
Really good start.
Really good start. City, kind of a fresh looking city, wasn't it? A whole lot of new faces.
Yeah.
Slimline Coldwell,
Slimline Evans.
not so much. Almost a full house, nearly 8,000 people there. Lovely.
Weird time.
Weird time to play a game of
Felt
football.
weird.
No one was into the
The whole
time.
day was off.
It really was. Everyone's tea was delayed or very early.
Well, I tell you what, I had to queue up to get a pasty
Oh,
in
yeah.
the end. It was such a massive queue.
Because everyone wants their tea.
Yeah, well, that's what happens if you put the game on at tea time, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
Also, they're not opening the Jungle Path booth until half time, are they now?
Why can't they just open the bit that doesn't sell booze?
Don't know.
Is that not?
Well, they used to, though. Last year, I got a pasty from there. 5-3, you know.
Yeah, what's that about?
Don't know. No idea. Anyway, you were in a big queue.
Yeah.
How long were you queuing?
I don't know, a good 15 minutes.
How was the pasty? Was it worth it?
No.
Dear.
They're not good, are they, them?
Chunk.
Obviously, being a kind of soy boy, non-meat eater,
Yeah.
there's only one thing you can have, which is this roasted veg pasty.
Is there no cheese and onion anymore?
Nah, don't do them.
So you've got
I
either...
take that every time over roasted veg. And it's honestly just like, I mean, I know I'm just describing a pasty, but like it's pastry with just some dry, diced kind of root vegetables in it, and
Yeah.
that is not nice.
It's dense, isn't it?
Oh, it's gross, and it's like I think when they first brought them in, they were like quite nice, and then I think
Standards have dropped.
I think the standards have dropped.
Phyllis in the factory's got bored.
Yeah.
My cousin's married to a Romanian woman who works at Ginster's. They both do, on the night shift. And I made them... Hey?
Argyle, are they?
Well, of course, they're from Cornwall, so they support Manchester United.
Oh, right, yeah.
Standard stuff. But they... his wife, I was sat next to her at a wedding once, and she went, "You're not vegan, are you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh, I hate having to clean the machine for you." I was like, "Well, it's not for me, is it?" Anyway, that's the end of my tale. So I reckon everyone's livid about cleaning the machine for vegans, so they show us what they really think of us by making it extra dense.
I don't know why cleaning a machine would be any worse.
It's annoyed her. It's annoyed Alan's wife.
Anyway, won't be doing that again. I'll have to plan better next time. Anyway.
Are you tempted to do like that? We've talked about this before, haven't we? The Welsh girl who put a jacket potato in her pocket.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm tempted to do. I'm tempted to watch it on Sky.
No, you're not.
And eat a nice meal at home.
I'm going to start bringing a satchel, and within it is a load of chips from Sidwell Fish and Chips.
We can just get chips from outside, you know.
Yeah, there's queues there. There's queues everywhere at City.
Well,
isn't there?
yeah, there
queue
is.
for a kit, queue for a pasty.
Don't imagine there's many queues for the kit, is there?
It's all sold out.
Is it?
They're all sold out. That black shirt's sold out, and the blue shirt's on its way to being sold out. So
There
shows
you
what
go.
you know.
It doesn't. It shows. I mean, it does show what I know, and what I know is Exeter is full of cretins.
Thanks for listening, though,
Just-
everyone.
Everyone. There's no. Just. You know.
You're ramping it up from last week. You're not just attacking the shirt, you're attacking the buyer of the shirt.
I think I attacked the buyer of the shirt last.
All
week
right, you're
as
going
well.
for it again.
Yeah.
All right.
Just. I don't even know how to describe it really. Just people in, no style around here, is there?
Sorry. I am sorry, listeners. I think you're very stylish.
Can we talk about before we get to the match?
Yes.
They do this little for social media content kind of little videos where.
Oh yeah. Asking the players something on the way in. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Martin Bratt asks them like, "What do you?" Craig Bratt asks them.
Ketchup or mayo?
Yeah,
Salad cream or mayo?
So this week's one was, if you could, I think it was sort of tenuously linked because it's the weekend of Boardmasters Festival.
Oh yeah.
100 miles west of here. Anyway, who would they have the players choose for a dream headline act?
Yeah.
And as you can imagine, I mean, don't ask them that. Ask them how many grey things they've got in their house or something they're gonna know about. You know, like,
I forgot about Matt J's grey house.
oh, they've definitely all got grey houses, haven't they?
Right, okay.
Who's your favourite Peaky Blinders character?
Right,
Do you
okay.
mean like? But they asked them this,
Tommy.
and yeah, very predictable answers.
Yeah.
A lot of Coldplay in there, like that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Apart from Ryan Woods, who suspended for this match, of course, carrying over from last season.
Yeah.
He said that he's actually a very big reggae fan.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Him and his wife.
Yeah.
Wanted to go to we're going to go to a reggae festival, but they
Yeah.
couldn't. But they're big fans of that. And his favourite band is UB40.
UB40. I mean,
And his favourite UB40 song is Homely Girl. So not even Red Red Wine
or Rat in the Kitchen.
or Rat in the Kitchen.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Homely Girl.
That's surprising from Ryan Woods.
I know it is, and you know, plenty of pale gingers like reggae. We're not, you know, we're plenty used to that living in Devon. Do you mean like there's lots of kind of there's lots of that around here, you know? But he's not from here.
No, I mean, people like reggae. He likes reggae. My first ever tape was Chakademus and Pliers.
Was it?
Yeah.
I once
Tease
went
me.
round to my next door neighbour's house for a Devon Air ambulance fundraiser,
Sure.
and I won a reggae hits
Did you?
compilation tape.
It was
in,
blank.
some
Is that the
sort
joke?
Some sort of some sort of competition. No, yeah, there's some good songs on there.
Tease Me by Chakademus and
Yeah,
Pliers?
probably was Shaggy.
Shaggy.
It was like that very
As what?
90s reggae, you
Yeah.
know. I don't. Maybe. I mean, UB40 were well bigger than they were still going in the 90s, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe he's into that kind of stuff as well, rather than he's not. I don't see him as like a Lee Scratch Perry man. You know, I don't see him as like a dub. You know, maybe is he?
I've no idea. Let's ask him. That'll be the next question. Next
Ken
week.
Booth. You know, does he? How far does the love for reggae go?
Yeah,
you
Dr.
know?
Alimantado. We'll find out, won't
Yeah.
we? But it's really more Scar. When Craig Bratt interviews him next week, maybe his question should be, what's your favourite subgenre of reggae?
Yeah.
And then we can find out more.
But I just wanted to let's just get a whole thing on Ryan Woods talking about his love for reggae.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's better than the rest of the people. Do you mean like the players?
Colwell said Coldplay, right?
Yeah.
I thought he'd say the Proclaimers.
He was offered Deacon Blue on a plate,
Oh, yeah.
and he turned it down in favour of Coldplay.
Come on, Gary, you've let your old country down there.
I feel like Coldplay have been rehabilitated recently a little bit, and people sort of like them again, whereas they were a big joke, weren't they, for years?
I mean, it's
Wasn't
just
it sort of a, you know, a byword for shit?
I think when people see something right in front of their face, they think, yeah,
Yeah, hence the black kit selling out.
maybe. Anyway, on to the game.
Shall we talk about the game?
Let's talk about the game. So basic full house.
No Woods.
No Woods.
Any other absentees? No, not really. That was the only kind of like I wasn't surprised. We knew he was suspended, but
I'd forgotten he was suspended. So,
straight in there,
yeah,
you've got the new boy in goal, Whitworth.
Joe Whitworth,
Tiny.
looking tiny.
You've got
John
Tristan
Lee.
Kramer
Oh yeah,
and John Leofeco
yeah,
and Pierce Sweeney
yeah.
centre back. A bit of a kind of surprise, I suppose, maybe that Sweeney's still in there, but not a surprise. But I didn't play in the Torquay game. I don't know if he played the Eastleigh game. Maybe he did. But that's the back three.
Yeah.
Harper's back in.
Yeah.
On the one side, and then on the other side
Niskanen.
was Niskanen.
Yeah.
And then middle kind of four of Jack McMillan.
Yep.
The man who nobody knows.
We're in number 2.
We're in number 2, because I think he's a right back.
Yeah.
Like
Originally, or technically, yeah.
With
Reece Cole.
Ed Francis.
Yeah.
And then Reece Cole and Jack Aitchison further forward.
Yeah.
And then Josh McGuinness up top.
That's right. So
And
that's a lot of new faces, isn't it?
It is. Are you counting them?
7.
7. And how many players on the team?
There's 11 players
11
on the team.
players on
Yeah,
the team.
that's right.
Yeah.
So high percentage. Yeah,
Yes.
that's quite the thing. And obviously, some of those we knew were going to have to change, like the keeper. But yeah, it's a big old change. Anyway, started brightly.
Well, Josh McGuinness hit the bar within 10 seconds.
Very, very quick, wasn't it? Because, I think if that chance had come to him 5 minutes later, and not that he did badly with it, but you feel like might have gone in. But he chests it down, doesn't he? Lovely on the 6-yard line.
Yeah.
And
So
I thought he's not going to get his foot to it, and he does. And
yeah, immediately we're kind of like we're kind of exposed to a kind of big difference to last season, which is having this type of striker. We had no one like that last season at all that we could do that. You could do that to or at, you know.
Yeah.
So you can just ping the kind of diagonal ball at him, you know.
Yep.
And he can control it. And he's just like, it's just refreshing to have a player like we have that option again, is it? I'm not suggesting that, and we didn't do that every time we got the ball by any means, you know. But it was an option, and then the more options you got, you know, the better it's going to be, and the harder it is to play against. And he just looked perfect for it. And what I like about Colwell's recruitment is that and we've, you know, we might have sort of had a pop at Gary over the years that he's been here, but we haven't. I don't think we've ever criticised his recruitment. It's always been good. And what he's really good at is is getting the kind of, I mean, didn't do it last season, but for whatever reason, but kind of identifying the kind of player we needed, and then managing to get that player.
Yes.
And they're quite often kind of someone who's like not needed somewhere else, and you go, well, that's actually what we need. You know?
Yeah, that's right. Round peg, round hole.
Yeah.
And McGuinness.
Saw McGuinness straight after the match in on High Street with all his family.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and
nice.
Also just at exactly the same moment is McGuinness on the right, and then on the left, Dimitri Mitchell talking to a load of lads by the bus stop.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
So Mitchell was there, was he, for the game?
Yeah.
Right. And what you can say about McGuinness as well is he's obviously very experienced in that position, and so several times he went, 1 or 2 or 3 defenders followed him, leaving the space behind him. So it's that as well, isn't it? Like, obviously all that stuff.
Yeah.
There were times last year, weren't you? And like, if anyone just even ran into the place, it would create the space. Anyway, so straight away
I was sort of thinking as the game first half that perhaps the 2-10s don't get quite close enough to him at times, but I actually think they did all right as the game kind of went on. I don't think either Cole or Aitchison had their best game, and they did, but they didn't play badly, you know. So we know that we know they're capable of more, is what I mean. Especially like Reece Cole, in terms of like at one point towards the end of the first half, he was just trying to have a shot every single time he got the ball, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Which is I'm not against, you know, but maybe it's in the beginning of the second half actually, that wasn't it? But because obviously they turned it around, so we were shooting in the first half towards the big bank.
Sam Nombe tip there, I reckon, to the
could have been Jules, could have been Dawson, probably Steve Evans. Been there enough times, hasn't he?
Yeah. What was exciting as well was 15 minutes in, we'd had 5 or 6 attempts at goal.
Yeah.
You know, McGuinness, there was an Aitchison one, there were a couple that went wide or high, but, you know, like, we weren't like, oh, it's been half an hour and there's been nothing. It was... No,
and Harper and Niskanen were both getting down the wings, and the crossing kind of wasn't great, but, you know, like... It's good to be in those positions, and you know, like, it doesn't always have to be perfect. It's getting the ball into those areas. If you do it enough times, you'll create something, even if it isn't the pinpoint perfect cross. You know? Really impressive. I really, really think that I know it's only one game, and there's a lot to caveat with that sentence. It is only one game, but I thought Ed Francis was like, he's unbelievably good.
Yeah, it looks like he's got everything we need, doesn't he?
He's the perfect Colwell player.
Yeah,
like he's like in that one performance alone. I thought what he demonstrated, it's a long way to go, was that he's like much more useful version of what Tom Carroll was trying to do last season. He is so much braver, better at getting. He will take the ball to his feet anywhere, no matter what is on him, no matter how many players are around him, no matter what's going on. I think I remember him giving the ball away once.
You mean tackled?
I think there's a part. I don't think I remember him being tackled at all.
Right, okay.
He played one misplaced pass. I think that's all I can remember.
Do you remember with Tom Carroll, he'd get it to feet, edge of our box, and all couldn't turn. What wouldn't turn would play it either to a centre back.
Yeah, just didn't have as close a control. I don't think. But there is another thing with that, and it's not all down to Tom Carroll. Is that, and we'll come on to them, I suppose, now. But Kramer and John Lee are more up for giving it into the central areas.
Yeah.
Last season with with Aimson, he hated doing that.
Yeah.
He hated to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that, again, based on one game alone, Ifeko looks like a better version of Zach Jules,
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I thought
or at least kind of more fitting to like what we're trying to do.
that centre-back trio looked excellent for happily passing. Like, we all know that Sweeney's passing isn't always 100%, but he loves to try.
He played the pass of the match.
Yeah, he
I
played
think.
lovely
that
passes
ball to
Niskanen.
through ball to Niskanen
Yeah.
was like absolutely world class.
And that's all we ask, really, isn't it, from these players, is they'll try brave things. Like,
well, you have to be in that system. You have to, if you're going to play that way.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to be, or you go nowhere.
Yeah.
That's where it goes from being a system that just is incredibly boring and doesn't really work in terms of creating chances. You have to be able to take risks and see the opportunities when they arise, and have also the kind of like the ability to pull them off.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's that on Saturday it looked like the technical side of it in certain places was right.
Yeah, I agree entirely. Yeah, and
There was dangerous moments for Rotherham. Do you mean they did have chances?
a couple of chances, didn't they?
Clipped the
Particularly
post.
second half.
Whitworth didn't have a huge amount of saves to make, so we didn't really see a huge amount of him. His distribution looked good, I thought.
Yeah.
Kicking was good.
Yeah. I noticed Sweeney was really taking the time to explain things to him. Did you notice that?
Nah.
He was really kind of saying, like, particularly like, not when he'd done anything wrong, but when changes were happening, sub was coming on, he'd go over and he'd be like this, you could see him pointing and saying things.
Right.
And Whitworth was nodding away and that. Because he's a young lad, isn't he?
Yeah.
And not really played a lot of first-team football, so I thought it was really interesting. And second half comes, doesn't it? 0-0 half-time.
Yes.
And we look good. And inevitably, as we know, Steve Evans knows what he's doing. And they're a team full of expensive players. When Jordan Hugill came off, I thought, blimey, he's been kept quiet. I'd forgotten he was even on the pitch, So hats off to our defence.
Same with, I forgot that Clark Harris was playing.
Yeah. Nombe comes on, doesn't he, for them after 50 minutes in the second half or something?
Yeah.
And as you always get with Sam, he played a different kind of position than we're used to, but he would get the ball and move with it.
Number 8 as well.
Yeah, very strange.
I didn't like that.
But we kept the pressure off, didn't we? It was quite tight first 15 minutes of the second half. And then, I don't exactly know what time it was, actually. 70 minutes or something?
Yeah, a bit later even, I think, possibly.
Gary makes some changes. On comes Caleb Watts for Harper. Niskanen swaps sides.
Yeah, and then they swap sides, yeah.
And there's another change as well, isn't there? Oh, that's right. Melenik Ali comes on for Reece Cole.
Yeah.
And he goes up top, and McGuinness drops back.
Yeah.
And then John Lee, who turned out to be the man of the match.
This is a great goal.
Great goal.
Ifeko takes the throw. Ed Francis. Sorry, I keep forgetting people's names. This will come. It will come, I suppose. But
Trevor Francis.
He heads it back to him,
Yeah.
and then instead of it makes it look like he's going to come inside, but doesn't. Completely wrong foots the defender, and goes down the left-hand side, and then just
almost to the byline.
Fires in this cross, which has got it's low. It's like it's by no means looping. It's not a low cross or anything, but it's arrowed in left
It hits
foot.
Caleb Watts on the thigh, and he's not jumping, so that's the height.
Yeah, I mean Watts just runs into. I mean that's what you want from a player like that, isn't it? He's just if you're playing the opposite kind of wing back, or whatever, arrives at the back post and just kind of gets on it.
Yeah, any touch and it goes in, and he gets a good touch on it, and that's that.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
I'm really pleased. I mean, a great debut for loads of them, but for John Lee, and then he got man of the match.
He was like a heck of a player. And Gary was
really good.
Gary really afterwards was like, well, he's not really fit enough yet, and we've got a lot of work to do with him on the training ground.
He is.
I think he's fine.
He's absolutely fine. He always says that, Colbert, doesn't he? I've just told the players that I think we can be better. It's like, mate, you say that every time. If every time we win, you say that. I mean, at what point does it just stop having any effect?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
But I'm really pleased also for Caleb Watts, because he's had a kind of bit of
a terrible time, really.
Yeah. He's had a tough time at City, but he has my kind of main two things about him is he's injured or he's popping up with like a goal.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
kind of out of nowhere.
He's got a lot of energy, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's a good player.
I think he's a good player.
He's obviously good to have around. I mean, more to his game than just football as well, of course, because he is also a writer.
Yes.
Have you seen this?
Political blogger.
He's got it's some politics and sort of some kind of society notes on social issues. He's clever because he wears glasses. The boffin.
Yeah.
The egghead.
That's what they call him. What was that? Was that a TV show, Eggheads?
Eggheads TV shows where like
just some clever. You have to go up against the clever.
Normal people have to come in and go up against, and like you're a team against a team of kind of clever clogs.
That's right. And Caleb Watts was one of them.
He could be on that. He could be on University Challenge.
Could be on these
Mastermind.
Hey, you know what they should do? University Challenge. They should put together a team of footballers.
Yeah, the cleverest ones. Watts.
What?
Joey Barton.
I don't know.
He's been Kierkegaard for a while.
I don't believe that Caleb Watts would want to be on a team with Joey Barton. Call me naive.
I doubt it.
Yes.
No, but he's good. His writing's really good, actually. And
well, he's got interesting takes on interesting issues, hasn't he?
Yeah, and it's like if you haven't seen that, I can't remember the.
It's on his Twitter, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on his Twitter and on his Instagram. Have a look at it. He's
No, I agree.
Nice. I mean, like, what we've seen there is Ryan Woods, bit more to him.
Yes.
He's into reggae.
He's into the offbeat.
Watts, bit more to him. He's into writing.
Beat poet.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like to see, players with a bit of like something to kind of a bit of interesting element to them. Because too often footballers can be very bland.
Yeah, they can. Not these two.
No.
Okay, so
that's 1-0.
It was 1-0. We defended well from then on.
Yeah, a couple more changes.
I couldn't believe their keeper came up. Like, call me mad, but isn't that for like real desperate situations? Like
the first day of the season.
First day of the season with like 2 minutes left of normal time. Anyway, there we are. So they were really trying to throw the kitchen sink at it.
They did have chances again. Like we got lucky on a couple of occasions.
Yes.
They're good with the balls into the box, aren't they? Rotherham, I suppose.
Yeah.
They weren't particularly good at anything else on Saturday.
Yeah.
But they did do that well, and there was a few kind of hairy moments where we kind of didn't quite clear it away, or they could have done better. This lad had a chance with a header, and then there's another one like that kind of went close, and on another day they could have scored, but ultimately they didn't hit the target, so they couldn't score.
Good day to play him, I'd imagine. I'd imagine they'll be honed into a bit of a...
Yeah, maybe. But I
mean...
Evans is an idiot. Do you mean? I know he's had like success in the past, but
no, he's a goon.
All these things come to an end eventually. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not like a young guy. Do you mean? And like I don't know if it's an absolute given that they're going to be top end of the table at the end of the season, unless they get rid of him, which is like perfectly plausible thing.
Well, they've got a good squad, haven't they?
They've got a good squad.
Dawson on the bench, of course.
Players,
Jules not even on the bench. Did you see it? I know you did. At the end of the game, Colwell goes over to shake his hand, and Steve Evans just doesn't even look at him. So he stood on the halfway line. He's walked out from the dugout, and he stood on the halfway line, 10 yards away from the bench, looking at the Stansfield stand. And Gary goes to shake his hand, and Steve Evans won't look at him or reply. And then Gary goes ballistic immediately. So he's obviously not a fan of him at the best of times.
Yeah, but I think I read some stuff saying that he had said in the past that he got a lot of time for Steve Evans and stuff like that.
But something's obviously happened.
Something's happened. He's like jabbing
his finger at him.
And then apparently he said like the assistant came over and Colwell was like, "Do you want some?" And like,
wow.
And then he tries to shake his hand. It gives him another chance to shake his hand. He refuses it again.
Right.
What's his problem? I can't think of anything that.
Nothing happened in that game.
It must have been something. It can only have been something between them on the bench, because nothing. But he's having to go to the ref. I know he always does that, and it's kind of his like thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, there wasn't like there was any huge decisions.
No.
There might have been a few little ones that he thinks should have gone his way, because the ref has been pretty lenient. I thought he'd let the game go pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah. The narrative of that game is, we were better, and Rotherham did have a couple of chances, and they didn't take them. That's the story of the game. Anyway, Steve Evans won up for it. He then goes over to the ref. So all the players are around in the half towards the big bank, and the ref and the linesman, the assistants, are lined up as they do, quite a long way from the bench. So Steve Evans has walked all that way.
Yeah.
I don't know what he says to him. This is on the 360 video.
He's sort of having a bit of go at Nombe, isn't he?
Is he?
I mean, he's got a history of this, hasn't he?
Yeah. Anyway,
Bullying players. They're having parties when he gets sacked and stuff like this.
Reece Cole then is recorded saying to the ref, "Are you going to let him talk to you like that?" So I don't know what he said, but I liked it. And I thought, oh dear me. I mean, I always dislike playing his teams, and he always is up to those tricks.
Never wins though, does he? At St James Park.
Doesn't seem
Never
to.
does it.
That's what he's cross about. Anyway, there we go.
Well, that's it now for him. And I know we'll go to Rotherham, but that's it for him coming here for another year.
Yeah.
Unless we get him in the cup or something, which we undoubtedly will. But see you later.
See you later, Steve.
Big old body warmer on.
Yeah, mad on the hottest day of the year. Anyway, there you go. 1-0, 3 points. Thank you very much.
Really good. Good atmosphere.
Great atmosphere.
Everyone happy to be back.
Happy to be back.
Up there. What do you think of the newest addition to the Big Bank, the Family Zone?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pleased that children aren't going to get crushed, but I don't think that's ever that likely to happen anyway.
Were they getting crushed before?
No. So I don't really understand.
I like it because it was so funny. Because we're still, this quite near to where we sort of stand anyway, right? But
They moved it towards us.
We're a bit further back than that, and it's all kind of demarked out now, painted. There's
Yeah.
white railings where it is and stuff.
This is until they hear your views on the black kit, and then they'll be moved again.
Whatever.
Yeah.
There's a bloke stood literally right on the edge. He's not in the family zone,
Yeah.
but he's shouting into it.
Yes.
Fuck off, ref! Like, it's so loud. And it's like, well, what can you do? You can't stop people shouting over the or into the family zone, can you? Do you mean so?
In fairness to him, he wasn't shouting into the family zone. He was shouting at the ref.
Yeah,
the
but
family zone just happened to be in the way.
Exactly.
Collateral damage.
Exactly.
Anyway, there we are. I mean, I take my daughter, as you know, sometimes, and we could go in the family zone, but
isn't it
she just
going
stands
to
with-
football for young children a sort of a way of kind of like, it's like when
see
you
in
get
real life, isn't it?
But it's like when you give them a hamster, so when it dies, it prepares them for when the grandma dies, right? So this is a bit of a way of kind of exposing them to a bit of agricultural language,
Yeah.
I remember going the first time and hearing people like saying far worse things than they say now back in the
Oh, indeed.
old cowshed,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't feel like that necessarily had much of an adverse effect on me.
You say that, but you've been awfully rude about the black kit and the people that wear it, so maybe it has.
That's nothing to do with it.
Yeah, well, anyway, I
If
mean,
anything, that's a complete opposite side of my life that's come into play there.
I don't really understand family zones. If I'm honest, I think it's good that the kids have the bit under the dough ball stand where they can go and play table football and see the results and what's the game beforehand. Because obviously they're not allowed in the centre spot. So it means that, like,
premises.
the mums and dads can have a hog roast and their children are safe in playing on the arcade machines. I think that's good.
Yes.
Good thinking. I understand why you might set aside the, in air quotes, worst seats for the junior Grecians to have because they're free. So obviously you don't want to give away your best seats for free.
Yeah.
So I understand why you have a junior Grecians bit in the
They have got the worst seats in the house.
worst seats in the house.
Yeah.
But fine, like that makes sense. They're free.
Yeah.
I don't know what the purpose of the cowshed. Listen to me. The Big Bank one is.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I
Anyway,
think
yeah.
maybe people have not kicked off.
But we've always had that.
Moaned.
But we've always had the bit further down, haven't we? Like when you just come down the steps. Wasn't that bit the previous family zone?
I don't know. I didn't know there was one before.
I thought that bit was the family zone because whenever I've bought my daughter, like clicked on for the tickets, you have to click into that square.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
To say it was a junior Grecians ticket. I think so.
I didn't know that.
But they've just moved it to a better place. So maybe they were like, can't see anything, but you can't see anything anywhere if you're small. That's why
No.
she stands on a fold-out stool.
Yes.
Anyway, there we are. Great, though. Great all round. Lovely day. And at the end of the game, all the players and Colwell really lapping it up. I like Colwell. He's humble with that because obviously he got absolute dog's abuse 6 months ago, 9 months ago,
Yeah.
and he stood there and took it. Like, he never rushed over to clappers when he was getting shouted at, but he did come over and people shouted at him.
Yeah.
Now he's exactly the same pattern. The players go first. Eventually he comes over and he claps us. And I think that's that impresses me about him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
I think like he's the same whatever is happening on the pitch. And obviously you're keen. Obviously you're keener if you've won and people aren't shouting at you. But he never shied away from it then, but he's not pushing himself to the front now.
Nah. Yeah. He does get it. He does get it right. Doesn't he?
He does get it right. Yeah. Unlike Evans.
And he's got it right on the pitch as well. Since you know.
Well, he's very keen to remind us.
Christmas,
There's a long way
really.
to go. Yeah, Christmas to go.
I know, and of course there's a real it essentially hasn't started. It's just one game. Look where we were this time last
It
season.
was better
yeah?
this time last season on results terms.
Yeah, exactly.
But thank goodness for a good start. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, really good. I'm sure there's loads of stuff that happened in it and people that played well that we've forgotten about. But we've got to get on.
Let's get on. More about what's coming up in a second. Welcome back to the podcast. Remember, you can email us, bigbankpod@gmail.com, at bigbankpod on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. What are you laughing at?
Welcome back to the podcast.
Oh, yeah, stupid. Sorry.
It's the first time I've heard you say that.
Yeah, I missed out.
Do you always say that?
No, I said welcome back to the Big Bang Theory, I think.
Oh, I think you do, yeah.
Shall we record it?
No.
All right, fine.
Leave it in.
So, thanks for everyone who entered the predictions competition. Those lines are now closed, as they used to say on Going Live.
Yeah, before they started ripping everyone off.
Yes, that's right. So there's
in competitions.
we got loads of entries. So thank you if you were one of them. And
Not allowed to have those anymore. Well, we're allowed to do whatever we want.
Yeah,
But then again, saying that, it sort of is a scam because I still haven't sent out the price for the winner. But
no one paid, so
that's true.
it's coming, Aaron.
You don't get that anymore, and you don't get. Do you still get little toys inside cereal?
No,
that's gone.
that's
because
gone.
of woke.
No,
No,
that's not what happened.
I think it is.
Yeah. My favourite ever cornflakes toys was when the film Willow came out.
The one with David Bowie in it.
And that's Labyrinth.
Oh,
Willow, starring what's the guy's name? He plays all the characters in Harry Potter, and he's the
Daniel Radcliffe.
No, the Ewok in Star Wars, and he's in Ricky Gervais's thing. Life's Too Short. What's the guy's name?
Peter Dinklage.
No, Warwick Davis.
Right, yeah.
Warwick Davis.
Another short guy.
Was in this film Willow. It's George Lucas post Star Wars.
Of course, yeah.
And they did these amazing toys in cornflakes. I had them all.
Did you?
Yeah. They were like metal things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't get that anymore. A child swallowed it, I'd imagine. One of my colleagues. One of my childhood colleagues. Anyway, on Tuesday,
Yeah.
City go to the Poundland Bescot.
Is that what it's actually
That's what
called?
it's actually called. Stupidest ground name in England.
Is Poundland sort of like HQ in Walsall?
Yeah, it's from Walsall.
I mean, it sounds like it. That just makes sense, doesn't it? I've never even been to Walsall. I don't know anything about it.
Have you not been to the Bescot?
I don't think I ever have.
Yeah. It's very convenient.
I've driven past it.
Yeah, well, as we all have. Poundland Bescot. Yeah, Poundland's from there, and I think they're still the shirt sponsors.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know why Poundland is so Midlands. I don't know. I know this is. I'm not throwing shade on the whole Midlands.
You are again.
I'm just saying it makes sense to me.
Well,
that's a thing. You know?
But it is true.
In the same way that you know, like Vimto, that's from the north.
Yeah.
you know?
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know who the Poundland striker is, don't you? Jamil Matt.
Well, a once kind of terrifying prospect for opposition teams.
Yeah.
Remember him playing for Newport.
Yeah,
and, doing pretty well against us. I don't know, doing well at Newport anyway. And then he went to Forest Green, didn't he? And he's knocked about, and he's at Walsall.
Yeah, Walsall. So that will be.
What do we? Are we going to put out? I was thinking about this. Is this going to be like a full strength side?
Don't you think this will be a Harry Lee game?
I don't know. I don't think it will be.
Really?
I think he'll go basically
strong, will he?
Basically strong because
get them up to speed.
Them up to speed, and also just to kind of keep get a bit of momentum. They can do a couple games in a row.
Is Wood still suspended? Is Wood suspended for this? Yes, because it's EFL.
Yeah, but
Oh no, he had 1 game suspension, didn't he?
he's already served one of them
From last
at the end
season,
of last
you
season.
mean?
Yeah.
So he'll be back. So you might put Woods in instead
Yeah.
of one of those midfielders. You might start Ali.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Obviously, McGuinness is like,
Yeah.
not a spring chicken.
Not a spring chicken. Yeah, it'd be interesting. And we can all watch it. So all these games are on Sky now.
Well, you say that, but
Yeah.
not everybody's got Sky.
But you can pay your Now TV money in the same way that you could pay your iFollow money.
Yeah, it's more expensive.
But do you remember last season you couldn't watch it anyway? You couldn't even get the highlights.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, that's better.
yeah,
It's still like extortionate, though, isn't it?
yeah. Well, it's fine. It's fine if you've got Sky. I got Sky, but for everyone else, it's really annoying.
And it's like, oh, you can get a day pass, and
Yeah.
it used to be a £5 like a couple of years ago, and it's just like,
Is it 12 now?
they've gone. I don't know, probably even more.
Mm.
And then it's like, yeah, but you don't have to watch that. You can watch 24 hours, and it's like, yeah, but there's nothing else on, is there?
Yeah, that's right.
You do it on purpose. They'll just be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We've all just watched the Olympics. We don't want to watch any more kind of like sport that isn't as good as football, like all the others.
Anywho, it's happening on Tuesday. I think you're right. I think it'll be a won't be
On the
won't be a
Sky thing,
child's
just quickly,
team.
in the home, the people that are watching, because
Yes.
it's on at because of the 5:30 thing.
Yeah,
One, I think it meant that in the ground there wasn't any replays allowed,
Yes, that's
unless that was nothing
Just
to do with that.
yeah,
But there wasn't any replays.
yeah.
And two, apparently it cut out like 2 minutes before the end.
Oh really?
Yeah, like
no.
there's 4 minutes added on, 2 minutes in. It's just like that's that.
Well, I tried to record it.
And there's no like angles or anything like. Is that
Oh,
is this
really?
right?
No, well, I watched the highlights and there's angles, and so this is my mistake. I went to they had like the 15 minutes highlights.
There's
on.
no audio at the beginning either. Was there?
Oh really?
Yeah.
I had the 15-minute highlights. They were on like the middle of last night, so I put it on to record. Came to watch it, and it was Bundesliga. So I don't know what's happened.
Oh right, weird.
Yeah,
Is it kind of like this like channel just occupies this space for a while and then it becomes something else?
maybe.
or-
But I just scrolled through and it said it was on the highlights.
Do you
so
watch
I
the
said to-
Bundesliga?
Well, I think it was Bundesliga from the COVID years because there were no supporters there, so I don't know what it was.
Old Bundesliga.
Yeah, weird, eh? Give me Exeter City any day, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can watch it, Walsall, and then next Saturday we're away at Sixfields. There again.
Yeah, Northampton.
I didn't realise how high they finished last year.
I know, yeah.
Just outside the playoffs, weren't they?
We've had them a lot, haven't we? Because they've
Yeah.
kind of mirrored our kind of,
playoffs.
we've both been like kind of League Two for ages
Yeah.
and League One, and then into League One, and
Yeah.
both sort of stuck around.
And then the
I think they
playoffs,
came
yeah.
up a year after us, didn't they?
They
But
did last year, yeah, but they came up before us, then came back down, didn't they, and all that stuff.
yeah,
That
and
was
then
the-
yeah, they actually did pretty well last season in the end. Like kind of, but this is a new season. They lost 1-0 in the last minute against Bristol Rovers.
Yep.
Away
Taylor.
on Saturday, Matt Taylor's Bristol Rovers. So there's no easy games. This certainly isn't one of them, but it's one that we can think. This isn't like. I don't think there's any that we're kind of like. There's plenty we'd look at and go like, "I'd take a draw."
Yeah.
But I don't think it's one of them. I think it's one where you think like we may well draw, we may well lose, but I don't look at it as an unwinnable match.
No, I agree with you.
They've
So
got any
they've still
good
got
players?
they've still got Sam Hoskins.
Oh yeah, he's been there for ages. And
Ages.
then Matey used to play for Man United and Port Vale. Is that him?
No. He's
James, whatever his name is.
Wilson, no, he's at Bristol Rovers now, isn't he?
Who's the Wilson they've got?
I don't know.
Come on, Wilson. Wilson.
Anyway, they've got Sam Hoskins, who is the one that's been there forever. Yeah, I mean, I think we should feel very confident to go there and put up a good fight.
Well, I do after Saturday, yeah. With all our great players we've now got.
Yeah. It looked like a strong bench as well, because I've been thinking, like, oh, we need a few more. But actually, when you look on the bench on Saturday, Ali, Watts, obviously, Czech, there were plenty, and I was thinking, like, oh, crumbs.
Well, what you've got
Actually-
also is Borge, who's obviously,
Yes.
I think, there's no Jake Richards in there, was there? So I
No.
don't know what's going on with him, but Borge came on and played well, and
Yeah.
I think obviously he's someone that Caldwell likes.
Yeah. And then, obviously, there's Mitchell to come back. But it's really sad news about Yannick Wildschut.
Yeah.
So you recall at the Eastleigh game, he twisted his knee, and it's an ACL injury, so he's going to be out for a long time.
They said worse than
Worse than Mitchell.
Worse than Mitchell's. So that is
So Mitchell's going to be, in the end, 9 months, isn't he, when he comes back? So, yeah, it looks like Wildschip probably won't get a game this season.
Well, no, they definitely said that. He said out for the whole season.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Terrible. Poor lad. Because he looked really good in pre-season.
I know. It's a shame. And I do think probably we might need to...
Yeah. I'd imagine there's still a few more to come in.
I think there's
anyway.
a couple more in.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's Mitchell to come back and there's Woods to come back to add into that squad. 2 players who you'd think probably, if they're, fit and in form, are regular starters.
Yeah.
You can see where they'd fit into,
to
that team.
Yeah. Yeah, very good.
But yeah, I still think and kind of hope for a couple more.
What are we now? We're the 11th of August now, so...
James Wilson plays for Northampton.
Oh, right.
Is that the same guy I'm thinking of? Or is it a different
there was a James Wilson at Manchester United, and there's a James Wilson that plays for Bristol Rovers. So...
Well,
Don't know.
Someone called James Wilson's playing for them.
I wonder if it's the same guy. I mean, it's a common name, I suppose. Anyway, if we can finish the week...
Oh, there's 2 of them.
Still
it's as
in
simple
the...
as that.
If we can finish the week still in the League Cup...
Carabao,
and with 4 points on the board, unbeaten, I think that was a very...
Why stop at 4? Let's have 6.
Why not stop at 4? I'd say that would be a very good week, even if we got the draw at Northampton.
Yeah, definitely. Even if we don't, I think even if we lose to Northampton, I think you can't just say, because one game was good and say we get thumped 3-0. I would still think the same thing. Do you mean we are going to lose some matches this season? We're not going to be unbeaten. So, but I think there's enough there anyway, regardless of individual results. I think we've kind of you can see that there's a good thing happening, and it's been a long process of kind of building. Caldwell is a man with a very clear idea of what he wants to do with the way he wants to play football. He's done it since he came, and he's had to kind of tweak it here and there, but on the whole, it's been pretty much what it is now. Has been the kind of way he's tried to play the entire time, even with Matt Taylor's players who weren't who weren't that type of player, a lot of them, he's had to kind of rebuild, and I think now we've got as close to we're moving further towards or a bit closer to the sort of team he wants.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we've got some, by the looks of it, some kind of real kind of coups in there in getting Francis, because I think a lot of people would have wanted him. Yeah. Because a lot of people play this kind of football. And I was watching on Saturday and I was thinking hang on a minute, isn't this just the exact sort of player that England needed in the Euros? That is true, isn't it? Yeah. That's that one they were going on about, that we don't produce players who do this, who and I was thinking, there's one there.
I love how good he is.
Carsley, get him in the squad.
Give him a call. I love how he looks like an absolute throwback. His hair's kind of 80s, short,
so thin,
and rolled down socks.
And he's so skinny, and he's but he's not. He's not getting completely pushed around.
No.
I mean, and he's very, very up for it.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of kind of passion. I think he's my new favourite person.
Well, I'd say that John Lee's my.
Well, it's a hard one to call between them two, and Kramer.
Yeah.
How can you not like him?
I know. I like how he was getting us going at the end.
Yeah, I think I saw that's one of the things that Brentford fans were saying online was that he loves doing that.
Wow, great.
Giving it to the crowd to kind of get everyone,
Even though we were already going for it, Tristan, don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I think he makes him feel good.
Great.
And he's French, so he should feel good.
Ooh la la.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back after the Northampton game.
Yeah.
Till then, have a good week. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.